And we are live. Hello, buddy. Good morning and welcome to Forever Sports. And it is team announcement day. Rassie Erasmus is set to name his side at about 3 o'clock, 3:15 today. And it's going to be very interesting to see what the Springbok coach goes for the final match of the Rugby Championship. An opportunity to try and win back-to-back Rugby Championships for the first time ever in the Bok history. Before we get started, I want you to please do smash a like on the video. I want you to subscribe to the channel as well. And I want you to go to mypicks.com, .app, and go and check out what your team is going to look like. Because, yeah, at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. We're here to build the team that you guys think will feature on Saturday. And it's a bit difficult because we're not entirely sure what the injury situation is. The only squad update we got is that Lutjage is in the squad, but Franco Mostert is out the squad. And I don't necessarily think that is the full extent of the players sort of and the movements within the squad itself, but we haven't got official communications about injuries regarding Damian Willems, Cheslin Colby, Ethan Hooker, supposedly also with a bit of a knock. And we haven't really, so we don't really understand what exactly the situation is. I mean, they spoke about the fact that Detlef Bashir was potentially going to come in as well. So the fact that he hasn't means that, we kind of think that maybe they might be fit, but we're not entirely sure, to be honest. Meanwhile, by the way, Argentina have lost Gonzalo Garcia as well as Thomas Albanose, who's just come back into the mix. And I think that's pretty big blows in terms of the Argentina side. So basically, they have to try and predict the squad based on what we can confirm, which is that there's no Franco Mostert. But everybody else, in theory, has gone over and is fit. Now, people, I want you guys to get involved here. And we've got a goal to try and get more donations for the lives. We'd love to try and get 5 super chats during this stream. We've also got a bit of a members goal to try and get to, which we're slowly starting to get to. So if you'd like to become a Forever Sports member, part of our members club, please do consider joining the members club. It is the pinned comment over there. Please also consider sending a super chat. We'd love to get to that super chat goal. Your super chat goes in the Rassie's Coach's Corner. So drop a hot take. Drop a hot take in the comments and let me know what you're thinking. And then go to mypicks.app and go and select your side and send them in, shall we? And Marcus says, when will this start? Yeah, I had a couple of issues earlier on, unfortunately. This late, super excited. I was just wondering if I was really in the start time. Yeah, no, we are back. We just had a couple of technical issues because technology just loves to hate us. In fact, to be honest, we're not even at this stage raising money for LED lights. We're raising money for a new PC because my PC just keeps misbehaving. Is the long and short of it, and it's driving me a little bit crazy. So in terms of the injuries, what Rassie Erasmus had to say is that there were some niggles basically. So Cheslin Colby, Damian Willems, Ethan Hooker all came off with an injury. Clear the answer is supposed to be back soon, but not part of the squad, for example. So it's going to be interesting to sort of see how we balance that. Now, in theory, I said those players have travelled. As far as we understand, they've travelled. I'm pretty sure I saw them yesterday when they did all the unloading of the equipment and stuff like that. So we've got to basically treat them as if they're fit. There's no way else we can really do it. We've got to treat them as if they are fit because we haven't heard otherwise. Same with the Oxen Chair, for example. In terms of the team announcement, it is at 3 o'clock this afternoon. At 3 o'clock, 3:15, around there. Our stream is scheduled for 3:30. We'll go live as soon as we know when the team announcement is. But so it was at latest 3:30. But I'd imagine it'll be about 3:15. They usually start 15 minutes before the press conference, and the press conference is scheduled for a 3:30 start. AJ said, I'd like to see Marnie 10, Willems at 12, Sasha 15. SVG says, Detlef Bashir is on standby. Could he be in for Thomas the Toy? Well, he hasn't gone over. So I'm assuming that whatever the potential injuries are within the Bok camp, they basically don't need to worry about them. And they do have enough props, in fairness, in terms of being able to cope. A lot of it, I think, will depend on Oxen Chair. But also, you've got lots of options. Because, for example, you've got a Jan Hendrik Wessels who can cover loose head if Thomas du Toit is injured. He is the current injury at the moment, so you could have an Oxenchair starting, a Jan Wessels off the bench. You still got Bone Fenter, for example, so you don't necessarily need to bring in reinforcement at this stage, because you could then have Vincent Koch and Volko Low with regards to Thomas du Toit at loose head. You've got options. You have got options, and as such, they haven't made a official call-up as such. Marcos dropped his team. I hope you go and do it on my Picks.app as well, saying, here's my team: 1 Sasha, 2 Sasha, 3 Sasha, 4 Eamon, 5 Sasha, 6 Sia, 7, 8 Sasha, 9 Sasha, Liebach, and then Sasha at 12 and 13, Willems at 15. I love that team. I'm all for it. But yeah, so as I said, in theory, I actually want to go check out that video and make sure that they did travel, because I said we haven't been told that they haven't. They were supposed to be doing scans, but I assume they must have done scans over there, which is a bit strange, I suppose, to a certain degree, in terms of having to go over and then get scans, and then they're not fit. So let's just go and double check on that, because I remember seeing some of them when they posted the reel from when they arrived yesterday. And let's go have a look here. Who we're looking for? We're looking for Damien Willems. We're looking for there she goes, Cheslin. So that answers that question. So he is over there. Damien Willems is there as well. And now we just need to confirm an Ethan Hooker. I mean, that's it. They're all over there. Yep, there's Ethan Hooker. They're all over there. It doesn't look particularly injured, but obviously we don't know. So as I said, we've got to try to treat them as if they're all fit. That's the only way we can go about this. So in terms of our loose head options, same as Oxenchair, we've got to assume that he's fit. Who starts at 1? Question mark. Oxenchair. Now remember, we're not doing what team you would like, just by the way. We're doing a prediction, because the main thing, and this is what we're going to do later, is this team that we're going to select, we're then going to score when the team comes out. And you get a point per player you get right, and an additional point if they're in the right position, and then you get a point for getting all of them right. Now, last week, by the way, somebody dropped a full house, 32 points. That is the maximum you can get, because you get an extra 2 additional points if you get the entire team right. And somebody did. They dropped a masterclass and predicted every single one of the positions and players correctly. So go to mypicks.app and see if you can do that. So who starts at 1? We've got Bone Fenter, we've got Oxenchair, and we've got Jan Hendrik Wessels. Those are your options at 1. I suppose also we've got Thomas du Toit technically as an option. I'll be very surprised, but let's put them in the poll, shall we? And let's go and get the voting going, people. Honest says, Peter Step the Toy will need to rest sometime. He's going 1,000% each game. To be fair, he's not played much this year. All the block games he's had, that's the only rugby he's played. So, yeah, he's actually not, for example, going to be burnt out, inverted commas, but I get what you mean just in terms of he goes flat out every single time he runs out. Keegan says, just wondering, is there any chance that we will see Quan Horn or Edville back in the mix at the end of the tour? Well, the nice thing in terms of a Quan Horn is that if, for example, Damien Willems or there are any injuries within the squad, he is over there. The Lions are playing. Who are the Lions playing this weekend? They were in Scotland last weekend. Bit of a tough start to the season. Not terrible performance, but a bit of a tough start. And we're in Italy at the moment. So it's pretty quick to get from Italy to the box if they need to call him in. Maybe they have called him in for all we know, and we just haven't got the update yet. Antti says Vessels must be next. Hooker. AJ is saying Monis, he can rest against Italy and Wales. Agreed. K3A, one of our loyal members, says, how's it excited to win a trophy this weekend, Stevie? 100%. Have to believe the boys will get it done. Yeah, no, I'm ready. What did I say? Ready for the trophies. We're going to have this on the table. We're going to be able to put this so you guys can be able, we're going to have to just move this to, you get better ribbons though. This whole USA thing doesn't work for me. But we're going to do the entire watch along like this. We're going to sing the national anthem like this. We're going to put on top of the head for the entire match. Because we're ready to win trophies at the end of the day. You need to get like a replica. You need to get a Wave Ellis replica for over there. I was going to get one from the World Cup, and it was like, I think it was like 500 euros. And I was like, yeah, don't quite exactly have that money, especially given the fact that we were in France and dropping euros every day just to have a beer. And I think it was like 200 rand odd. So yeah, but we need to get a Wave Ellis, don't we, for the shelves. First of all, we need to get a plaque for when we get to 100,000 subscribers, which I don't think will happen this week, but hopefully by the end of your tour, we should be able to hit that mark. Look, maybe we have an absolute storm of a weekend and we get there. We are sitting on 96,408. If we can get to 97,000 before this weekend, we usually get about 1,000 on a bulk day. So you guys need to start pulling a bit of weight there. You know, go invite your friends, invite your nanny, invite your dog. Get them to all subscribe. Let's see if we can get to 100,000 this weekend. I mean, what a party we could then have afterwards. A little 3 o'clock kickoff. We can go and celebrate, pop the champagne. I've always said, that actually over here says, congratulations on 1 million views. Maybe we'll pop that bottle of champagne when we get to 100,000 subscribers, because we're not going to wait to get to 1 million. Otherwise, that will effectively just be poison. In terms of some of the other chats, while we get to we probably actually need to put Oxenshare somebody in. So Oxenshare's got 67% of the votes. Let's get our team going, shall we? Let's throw Oxenshare. Let's lock in the player on the screen, and let's go into who starts at number 2 before I continue my ranting and raving and all the likes. Malcolm Marx is an option. Marnus van der Merwe, I'd love to see him involved this weekend. You guys all know I'm a big Marnus van der Merwe stan. And Jan-Hendrik Wessels continues to be an option at 2. So go and vote. And what are people saying? Oh, yeah, SVG says, if Hooker and Williams are out, then Mapimpi at 11 and Sashfang Gomazulu at 15. Rassie releases the team this afternoon. K3A says, I'm torn between, is Rassie going to go with players to put in the last few performance, or is he going to bring back some of the senior players to give them a chance to, inverted commas, respond? That's a very good point. And I'm also there in terms of, I need to do my prediction after this, and I'm kind of hoping you guys give me some info and some ideas, because I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm backing a Damian Willems. Is he going to be fit? Is he over? I mean, he's over there, but but is he fit? And it says, in my opinion, Rassie will make a handful of changes and Willie won't be one of them. Well, Willie's not there. So unless he's flown over this overnight, for example, as far as we understand, he's not there. AJS says, I think our team is starting to take shape. Just need Orense back. Taya says, hey, Stevie, which long shot selection are you hoping for? Mapimpi, Faf, Marnus van der Merwe starting. That's what I'd love to see. If there was one selection I could make, it would be a Marnus van der Merwe to start, because I really want to see what he can do. As I said, you guys all know, you guys are probably getting sick of me saying it. I really, really do rate him, and I think that he could be a big part of this team moving forward. AJS said Pimpy has a high chance of playing. Rassie said he wants to get him to 50 caps. Annette says Ox will be back. Evan won't play. Arke will start with Nokia. Maybe Bongi says David Biz. Oh shit! I should probably put Bongi in. You're gonna have to start again. Thank you, David. You're so. This is how wild is that? Because he's been playing so little, we're gonna have to repoll because I forgot to add Bongi and me because I basically forgot about him. Malcolm Marx. We're gonna have to repoll people. We're gonna have to repoll Marnus van der Merwe. Bongi and my gut says he won't start Benambi, but maybe I could be completely wrong. And yeah, Ninja Vessels. Right, we have to get that going once again. Go and vote for your potential starting hooker. And as I said, let's try and see if we can get the subs up here, people. If we can get to 97,000 by the weekend, maybe we could have an absolute phenomenal weekend and get to that 100,000. Who knows? We almost need to do like a little 100,000 like celebration. I think very important, to be honest. I think that, you can be selective, coming from overseas and playing for an overseas-based team. We've seen it before. Yes, Pavisa, for example. Marnus van der Merwe is one of those. I just do think that it definitely does help your chances a lot if you are playing your rugby in South Africa week in, week out in front of South African audiences and the likes of that. So, yeah, Rassie released his team at about 3 o'clock this afternoon. Will help us do, I think. And it reckons Bongi off the bench. John Doe says, one Ox. DD says, I'd like to see Estays and start instead of Damon Delende. He's been excellent off the bench. Damon Delende looked misplaced with a new game plan. Well, he had a pretty good game, I think, over the weekend, in fairness. Pretty couple of big barraging runs there. But this is quite an interesting poll. Let's see if we can try and get that 50 votes, people. Malcolm Marx ahead. Marnus van der Merwe in third place. Bongi Manambi actually is 31%. People reckon that he might get a start because we haven't seen him yet. Only time will tell. In terms of some URC fixtures, we'll go look at them in a little bit, actually. Some nice ones this weekend, especially that Bulls versus Leinster game. Definitely has my eye on it. And big opportunities for the Lions and the Sharks to get their season going. Dragons and Zebra do await those two. But yeah, past 50 votes. Malcolm Marx has gotten the nod there. So he goes into our number 2. And now we have to start. Who starts at number 3? Now we keep saying Wilco Low starts over here. It's the one selection we keep getting wrong in terms of our predictions. So we gotta get this one right, people. We keep getting it wrong. We gotta get it right. SVG says Bongi to start at Hendrik Wessels off the bench. Anya Vinvogel is also one of our members. Says Bongi might get a run this weekend, most likely off the bench. Rassie wouldn't have kept him in the squad if he was not planning to play him. It's a good point. You make a good point. But at the same time, Vincent Koch and him have been around for the entire Rugby Championship and just have not been played. So maybe different types of thinking. But we'll have to wait and see. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets an opportunity. I also think that the fact that we only have to win, we don't necessarily have to win with a bonus point or a high score, does make it slightly easier in terms of being able to rotate. And also, I think, I think it's very important in terms of getting the victory done that we do also still have a look at a couple other players. But my main thing this weekend is we've got to win. We have to win. D says, Damon Delinda had good runs but doesn't pass. He only takes contact even when there's players outside him. Yeah, but you also have to take contact. Just passing out wide every single time isn't the only time you create space. I think one of the biggest things that Damon Delinda does is he gets over the advantage lines, which is what creates the space out wide as the defenses retreat. Very different types of players. Andre Esterhuizen's a very... he's a good distributor, but one of the big things that Andre Esterhuizen does is carry the ball into contact and get over the advantage line. Different types of playing, different types of game plans when they have them, to be fair, different roles that people have as well. In terms of, like, for example, when Billy plays with Andre Pollard, he becomes a distributor. If you've got a Martin Liebach, you don't need a distributor. So it all kind of sort of small tweaks here and there. Debate Oosthuizen says, if Razor gets back Mwanga, Retallick Smith, it'll be a completely different team with the experience they will add. Otherwise, he won't get far in the World Cup. AJ says, Rassie wouldn't do too many changes with the championship on the line, but you never know. Well, that is the problem, isn't it? That is the problem. You do never know. And Annette's saying, I wonder if all the Bok players for the Lion Sharks and players for the other store UFC will stay behind to join their individual teams. I don't think you'll really see a lot of these. I think Moore van den Berg, for example, go play a few games for the Lions. But I think that you're not going to see, for example, Ruan Nokia playing for the Stormers. I mean, for the Bulls in between now and end of year. We're past that 3, and Thomas Latoya has gotten 45% of the votes. He is a bit of an injury concern, but the fact that they haven't drafted him yet this year means that maybe he's not as big of an injury concern as they thought. Right, who starts in the number 4 jersey? Somebody reckons that Archie is going to get a go. But we're going to put in Eben. We're going to put in Archie. We're going to put in... who else are we going to put in? Lurtz, because he did start there and then came off at Wellington. And I'll put Ruan here just because we only got 4 locks, shall we? Right, let's go and add our number 4. By the way, people, please do try and smash like on the video. Let's try and get those likes up. Sitting on 14 likes, over 100 people watching. Let's get this going, people. As I said, we are trying to get some more of these LEDs to the studio. Try and make it a lot more visually appealing and fun. So please do try and continue to add depth, for example, and the likes of that. But the big thing is we need to win this weekend. That is the biggest thing for this weekend, is we have to win. And yeah, as a result, I really think that we probably do need to stick with a lot of what's been going well, because it's been working at the end of the day. So I'm very much leaning towards we play what's been working. But I don't think bringing somebody like, for example, if Damien Willemse is injured and you bring in a Marty Liebach to start and Sasha goes to 15, for example, that's not making a massive difference. I mean, that's not making a massive change to the side. So I think that, for example, is a very easy change to make. Frederick Monster is not there, by the way. That's if somebody was asking, because he has had a family bereavement and he just stayed behind. So Eben gets 49% of the votes. So we're going to put in Eben Etzebeth. And he goes in the number 4. And now we need to decide on our number 5. Who starts at number 5? Question mark. Archie Snyman, Lurt De Jager, or the man on form, Ruan Nokia. He's been so good this year. Tell you what, he could actually be in an SA Rugby Player of the Year conversation, to be honest. AJS says Ruan Nokia is the most underrated player in World Rugby at the moment. Dorian says Williams, Liebach, and Sasha on the field at the same time will be entertaining, along with Pimpy and Moody. Then with Damien and JC combo in the midfield. And it says, I don't think honestly Eben will play. Rassie is putting him in a fragile box for end of year tour and World Cup. As he reckons, no, Archie must be number 5. Archie must be lured on the bench. So, well, go and vote. Go and vote. Go and have your say in the comments over there. And if you disagree with the side, go and predict yours on mypicks.app. That is why the app is there, people, is so that you can go and get involved. You can go and make your predictions on the app. So we've got over 45 votes. Got to get up to 50 votes here, people. And then we will, although to be fair, I don't think there's enough votes coming in that could potentially change. Because at the moment, 76% is sitting with Archie and with Ruan Nokia. And as a result, we're going to throw in Ruan in the number 5 jersey. This is all looking pretty familiar. To be fair, this is kind of what we were going to have last week before the injuries over there. Right. Who starts at 6? Always pretty straightforward. It's the man that we're going to hope is going to win lift a trophy this weekend, but we could have Sia Khaleesi in the options. We're going to have Marco van Staden in the options, and we're going to have Kwagga Smith as one of the options in the number 6 jersey. Go and vote for that. John Doe says 1 Ox, 2 Bowen, 3 Volko. I mean, you can't just start to convert Bowen into a hooker. 4 Lewitt. 5 Nokia, 6 here. Peter Toy needs to rest though. I don't think Peter does need to rest. We keep talking about the fact that Peter Toy needs to rest. He doesn't. He's not played a lot of rugby this year. He's played whatever the minutes he's played for the Box, which I think about 250, maybe 300 odd. Okay, maybe a bit more than that. That's the only rugby he's played. He's not played any club rugby this year, so he doesn't need to rest. He's really not played that much rugby. He's played since July, let me not lie to you, 589 minutes. No, I lie. That includes 100 minutes from last year. So 489 minutes since June, the end of June. And we're in October now. So in 3 months, full August, full September, in 3 months, he's played 489 minutes of rugby. That's not that much. He's played a sum total of 6 games. 6 games in 12 weeks. It's not a lot of rugby. So he doesn't need to rest, as far as I'm concerned. He's absolutely fine. I said he hasn't played any club rugby this year because of injury, which is pretty impressive considering if you look at the form he's had and he hasn't had club rugby. But I don't think he needs to rest. Yaku says, I think Rassie is going to either pick a team no one expects or you'll pick the tried and tested to win the championship. This is a final, after all, and must-win game. Tristan, the team announcement is indeed this afternoon at anytime between 3 and 3:30 is my guess. And next, I really think Rassie will do what he did for Durban game, use the players that are familiar with the conditions. That is why he played hooker the whole game. Mark my words. Ansley says, actually cannot wait for the team announcements. Sia number 6, won't be surprised if Kwagga go on 7 and Jasper at 8. Possible Peter Steph the toy at 7, but should be stacked at loose forwards. John Doe says, I like Bone, he needs to play. I mean, I'd also like him. Not sure I'd put him at hooker. But hey, you never know. Go and put him at hooker on in your team. And Sia Khaleesi with 88% of the votes is probably the biggest vote so far. Who starts at number 7? Well, my chair needs a regassing. I'm getting lower and lower as we keep going over here. Peter Steph the toy is an option. Kwagga Smith is an option. It's kind of the only real options, really. So I'll just throw those out. I'd be very surprised if suddenly Marco van Staden. Maybe we should put Andrew Este as an option over there. Our hybrid player. Let's go number 7, sorted people, and then we go on number 8, and then we have our pack finished. And I said, please do consider becoming a member. I'd really like to see at least one member. We're up to 209 members, people. We need to get up to that 250 mark. That is our biggest goal. In fact, I'm going to tell you the most members we've ever had. In fact, that should be our goal, really, is to have the most members we've ever had on the channel by the end of the year. And that is... I can do this in a lifetime. The most members, I would imagine, will be during the World Cup a couple of years ago, which literally all my memories are coming up at the moment. So, and all those memories were of me in France, and I was actually in Marseille this time 2 years ago, just before we had the Tonga game. What a game that was. A lot of fun, that. At the moment, 100% for PSG Toy after 144 votes. Not a single vote for Kwagga. You guys are disrespect. Franco Mostert is not in the squad. And so he's not an option, unfortunately. He was left behind. We did a video on it yesterday. Right, there we go. We peaked at the most. We've had 301 fans. I lie, we had 316 fans. That is the most fans we've ever had. It's 316. So, yeah, we've got to get back to that, people. We've got to get back to that. Obviously, it was during the World Cup, and things always sparked during the World Cup and stuff like that. But last year, we peaked at 266. So that's where we need to get to, people. We need to get to 266 by the end of the year. Otherwise, we failed compared to last year. John Dirt says, we are actually thin at 7. Vincent needs to come back. Quine says, want to see Grant at 9, Mustasha, Damien, and Kanan. Well, let's lock in Peter Steph the toy. And let's go on to our number 8 options, who I think are pretty straightforward, to be honest. If based on the last few games, he has been so good, hasn't he? As Jasper Wiese, who starts at number 8? Question mark. Kwaka Smith is an option. You've got Jasper Wiese as an option. You've got I suppose in theory you got Marco van Staden as an option. They have said he can play at 8, so let's put him as an option. Let's get those voting going here, people. It says Franco and Jesse, right? No, Jesse is there. As he says, Jasper 8, definitely 100% voting. Yeah, look, I mean, he's so good. I've always like him. And somebody was, I can't remember who it was, in a live stream, and they were saying we're not really missing him in the Rugby Championship. Well, if they're in the chat right now, come on, admit it, how wrong you were. How wrong you were. He has been brilliant. Brilliant. In the Rugby Championship so far. Tristan said, looking forward to the Japan-Italy test match. We will hopefully see some experimentation. Wiese at 4, Nokia at 7. Yeah, assuming Kobus Wiese gets the call up. I don't know if they're going to go sell Murat, for example, again. But yeah, people come. If we were to get like a member every day from now until the end of the year, how many days left in the years? Days left in 2025. There are 94 days remaining, right, people? That is going to be the new one. Who will be today's member? If you get one member per day by the end of the year, we'll get to almost that 300 mark. I'm even going to replace the thing. Will you, big you, be today's new member? Question mark, join here. That's the new goal, people. We're going to be trying to get a new member every day for the rest of the year. We're going to have some off days where they won't join, so then we're going to have to double up on other days. So, for example, if you get 2 members today, then we don't have to worry about tomorrow. But that is the plan, people. 94 days, and we'll get to over 300 by the end of the year. Let's get involved in that, people. Let's get involved in that. AJS says, Jasper Wiese is locked into that 8 jersey at the moment. Mine says, hope Kobus Wiese goes on tour to the UK. Annette says, sorry, sometimes I miss the lives, and that is when there's cricket, netball, rugby on. Yes, I follow Premier League, Super 14, all the New Zealand NOS, provincial comps. Always good to see our opponents. Annette, you sound like you watch a lot of sport. Love the work. Yaku says, wouldn't Rassie also pick a team that has conditions experience? K3A says, how shocked would we be if we see Eskom at 2 and Chesn taking lineouts? I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. Let's have a look at the weather in London, shall we? And see kind of what's cooking over there before we add Jasper Wiese to our side. 100% of the votes. As kind of expected, really. So it's looking a bit miserable on Friday, but Saturday is looking dry. It's a high of 15, a high of 16, a low of 9. So in fairness, at 3 o'clock, it's supposed to be very good conditions. So I don't think we actually really have to worry about the conditions of Commas being wet. It's does not get much wind either. It looks reasonably windy a bit on Friday. Maybe a bit of wind factor, but that's pretty much it. Red. So we can lock Jasper Wiese in the number 8 jersey, and now the big question is who starts at 9? Now again, it's just not what we want, by the way. It's what Rassie's going to pick. Because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to predict what the team's going to be, not give what we want our team to be. Gobus Ranach, Mornay, Van den Berg, or Faf de Klerk. Maybe a surprise packet of a Faf de Klerk if he goes and gets named. Ansley says, Mooi van den Berg start at 9. If Grant is fit, I'd vote for Grant start and Mornay on the bench. Kubas right to get some rest. Annette says she believes in Nyako's chat that he's going to pick a team of conditions experience. Toya says, who do you believe are mandatory newbies we send to Europe later this year? I don't think we'll see anybody new from completely new. Cameron Harlequin was not going to be fit. Alvin Lowe's not going to be fit. I think Gerard Steenekamp getting a recall is probably the big one. Maybe Neertling Verschuur getting a call as we kind of wait to see what's going to happen with Asnati and Tlabakanye at the end of the year. So I think those will be the big sort of question marks, but I don't think we're going to see anybody entirely new. I'm hoping Edwin van der Merwe goes. I think that he is somebody who I would like to have seen more games for him so far this year. He got injured at the wrong time, and now Ethan Lucas taking his opportunity. Funny how life works. But at the moment, we've got 46% with Grant Williams, 28% with Morne van den Berg. Let's lock in Grant Williams. We're over the 50 votes margin. And this team's starting to come together. Who starts at number 10? Sasha Famigomazulu, Andre Pollard, Mani Lebok, who has been balling out in the last couple of games, by the way. And it says Williams started 9, Kobus off the bench, Faf is done. That's fighting talk. But we still need our one member for the day. So let me know if you're going to become our one member. We'll have to try again later. I was actually kind of hoping to get like 1 or 2, or maybe 2 or 3 today, so that we can give ourselves a little bit of room for the next couple of days. But I back you guys. You've always come good for us. So It's like our subs. We even upped like 5 new subscribers in this stream as well. So shout out to you guys. I mean, if we need 3,500 subscribers by the end of the year, how many do we need a day? Quite a few. Anzi reckons 100 have started 10. Mark my words. Mani on the bench for impact. Sasha to be rested after a huge game. Well, I think a lot of it depends on the fitness, in fairness, because if Damien Willems is not fit, we don't actually have a fullback. Unless Chesa Colby starts there, but we don't have, a normal sort of fullback. I mean, who would have thought a month ago after that game from Andre Pollard, man of the match performance, that he would be sitting with the fewest votes for who starts this weekend? And I think that just shows you how far we've come in a month. And it's really, really good to see. We're over that 51 vote, not 52 votes, 53 votes. And we got 53 votes, 53 votes. Then we have 54 votes. We're locking in at 53, shall we? At 49%, we are going with Sasha to start back-to-back tests. Back-to-back tests, actually, because he did start at Wellington despite having to go off early. Josh says, I think we should stick with the combinations Grant Liebach, Reinach, Sasha. Good point. Very good point. Liza Fitness says, Ethan Hooker has been amazing on that number 11. I'm beginning to think that we will never get to see him play center. In fairness, if you're going to have Damien Williams and the likes of that at center, maybe don't need him at center. Delusion says, Mani is really hit or miss with Pollard. You get the consistency. Annette reckons, Pollard start, Mani off the bench, Sash Famgomazu at full back. John Doe says, Sasha plays like Israel Dag. He's a great 15 that will score many tries and points. As he says, if we don't have a fullback at this stage, I'd vote Sasha at 15, 100 at 10, Mani on the bench. Could very well be that, in fairness. Right, shall we sort out our centers, shall we? Who starts at number 12? It's an interesting one. You're going to have a look at Esterhuizen, Damien De Allende, Willemse. I'll throw in a hooker as an option, because he is technically a hooker as an option. Ethan Hooker as opposed to the hookers, who are not an option. But, yeah, so we will be live. This will redirect you guys to the live stream later. We will be live at 3:30 at this day. In fact, we'll probably go live a little earlier. To be honest, 3:15 is probably when we'll go live. And that is for the team announcement that Rassie Erasmus is set to make this afternoon. If anything ever changes, we will tell you. But he is pretty much locked on that. It is the press conference started at 3:30, so it usually comes out a little bit earlier. And that is in... at 3 o'clock. So as he reckons, under Esterhuizen at 12, Reinalist wants Mani at 10. We've got a poll running for all of them, and Esterhuizen very much seems to be dominating at the moment. We've got to get to that 50-point margin, people. That's when we lock it off. 50 votes, and we call it there. Do, 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 do. And I'm just going to see if any other news floating around, Joe. We'll have a look at a bit of the URC tomorrow, I think, and have a bit of a dive into some of the fixtures that we're seeing. Very, very interesting to see how Stormers follow up that performance. They've got Ospreys this weekend. And I'll tell you what, they were so good against Leinster. So it's going to be a big opportunity for them to go potentially top of the log, keep staying in the top of the log, maybe a little bit of early momentum. You've got to make sure your home games count. That's, I think, is the biggest thing when it comes to the RC. You've got to make your home games count. K3S says the weather for Twickenham is rain Friday, but dry Saturday. Must plan is 15 degrees. Should be good conditions for flinging the ball around. All for it. All for it. We're over that 50 votes, and we've got Estays locked in at 12. Now, the big question is, does Caden Moody retain that number 13? Who starts at 13? Does Caden Moody retain it? Do we go back to Jesse Creel? Do we give a chance to Ethan Hooker? These are the questions. And at the moment, Moody's off to an early lead. It's amazing, I said, how things have changed. I mean, I spoke about it yesterday a little bit when I did the squad update. I said it's amazing how players who are under pressure, and I include Sash Famagomazulu because he was under pressure. He wasn't playing particularly well a few months ago. Had that awful game against for the Stormers in the playoffs, and I think a lot of people went, "Oh, hang on, maybe he's not quite ready." And Kenny Moody, for example, had a couple of tough games at wing for the Boks. And they were letting a lot of pressure on them. And it's amazing how those two players who are under a bit of pressure have just responded. And all of a sudden, Caden Moody is locked in at 13. Sasha's locked in at 10. Ethan Hooker, for example, at the moment is coming a bit of a drop in the 11 jersey. So it's about being patient. It's about backing the coaches and the decisions they make. It's about backing players and understanding that, they'll go through dips in form, for example. They might not always be at their very best. It happens. It happens. No, correct answer, unfortunately, is not back. Renalift says, Mani 2010, Pollard 12, Satvang 15, solve the problem. There we go, can have all three of them. Problem is, where do you put Damien Willemse then in that mix, And DD says, Jesse was looking down on Saturday. Doesn't look like he's enjoying being on the sideline. I don't think anybody is. They're such big competitors. All they want to do is get back on the park and contribute. So, yeah, and that's what you want to see, is you want to see them compete, and you want to see them desperate to play all the time, pushing them in training. And I'll tell you what, I'd love to watch that Wednesday game, where those who are not picked go up against those who are picked. And I reckon there's some big hits to try and establish a bit of dominance and the likes of that. So we've got to end on our number 13. We're past that 50 votes. Caden Moody, 58%. No, not Jesse Creel, Stephen. We got to now go to the center. I mean, yeah, because I mean, you got to go to Caden Moody. There we go, 13. Now we got to talk about the wings. So who starts in number 11? Now again, not that I want to try to repeat myself, but we got to keep reminding you, this is who we think that Rassie's going to pick, by the way, not who we want. All right, there we go. There are your options in the number 11 jersey. I've given you a Pimpy, Hooker, and Cheslin Colby. I don't know why I put Cheslin's full name there. It's one of those. It's been a long morning. Go and get those votes in, people. Let's complete this side, and then we'll return later and see exactly what it's going to look like. And this is quite an interesting race over here. Hooker's now starting to really dominate. Mapimpi, you had an early lead. Journey to World Champion says, love the fact that all race, colors, languages are performing brilliantly together as one team and nation. There we go. A bit of feel good in the morning. And he says, just rewatched a couple of France Six Nations games. Those croissant eaters will be ready for us. It's going to be a good game. That much I can confirm. I think that French game is one of the things I'm so excited about. That and the Ireland game. Woo! And it's a nice game as well. New Zealand versus Ireland in America. The Oz, I think Oz have got Ireland and France as well. I'm be interested to see how they go. Argentina, Scotland, I don't know why, but it's a game I always love watching. I find it always produces really interesting moments because I think they're quite similar in terms of on their day. They can produce some attacking amazement, but they can also concede to under 14 teams. So that's always a fun game as well. At the end of yesterday, I was doing the fix. We were doing the fixtures yesterday for the end of year tour, and there are some serious fixtures, and really excited for that. Where we sitting here, people without voting over here. Ethan Hooker's got 52. Well, after 52 votes, he's got 58%. So we're going to put Ethan Hooker. And I mean, and this just shows you all that what Rassie is that he spoke about Ethan Hooker being a centre. So he was put in the centres within my picks. And Caden Moody mostly a wing. And all of a sudden, we have to go into the centre section to put Ethan Hooker on the wing. We have to go to the wing section to put Caden Moody there. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Who starts at number 14? Your options really are basically Colby, and Colby. I mean, Mapimpi's never played in the number 14 jersey ever. I will put Jesse Creel. He's played in the number 14 jersey, in fairness. I don't think it'll happen, but he has played there before. Tariq says, Mapimpi is better and faster. Ansley says, France Ireland will be the real deal test, especially with our current Tony Ball game plan. Hans says, I predict the exact same team as last week. Josh said, I don't think Andre Stozen will start the game. He come off the bench. He's become such a useful player off the bench, hasn't he? People, please give me, I want to do thumbs up. You're going to do emotions now. Or actually, go to the emotes and, look, not all of you guys can drop, I think some of them. But go to the emotes and drop some, we're going to have an emoji run here. If you've done your team on mypicks.app, drop an emotion. I'm going to drop some Rassies. In fact, I'm going to add some Rassie side eyes in the chat. You guys can also drop some of the Stevie P with the glasses on. Good times, good times. I think that was after we won the England game, must have been. When I jumped in on the... I gate crashed the player rating show that the guys were doing with... my own emoji. But yeah, people, drop an emoji of some sort if you have locked in your team. Drop a thumbs up, drop a high five, drop some South African flags, drop a couple of emojis. I see Hans has dropped in a couple, so he's obviously locked his team in, and he's probably gone and used that function where he just loads the previous team from last week because he reckons it's not going to change. So there we go. And that's why we put the function there. Oh my goodness, busy watching some of the Ryder Cup from over the weekend. Just seen that slam dunk from Justin Rose. What a Ryder Cup it was. We're going to lock that in. Ches and Colby's going into number 14, by the way. Who starts at 15? There's only real one option, to be honest, that's left. It's either Damien Willems, so I'll throw in a Mani Liebach as an option, shall we? Just that we've got a vote. And my chair is a disaster. I need to get that regassed. Yep, Tahir's also dropped in his team. As he says, haven't locked my team yet. You got to go lock the team in. Mypicks.app, people. Mypicks.app. Go and get that team locked in. And then later we're going to compare what scores we're going to get. So I'm going to go predict my team. And I've got a bad feeling about it. I've got absolutely no idea what I'm going with. But I've got to go pick my team and see. Do you think Pollard will play Saturday? I don't actually know. Daniel DuPont reckons he's stressed about Saturday's game. Colby made a mistake, but doesn't mean he doesn't do good things last game. He did score a great try, in fairness. What a bizarre moment that was. What a bizarre moment. But Willemse is injured. Well, he's travelled. He's there. He's in England. So, yes, he came off as the Colby, in fairness, as the Ethan Hooker. But we've got to just go with the information we've got, which is, as far as we understand, they're fit. So, yeah. So at the moment, we've got David Williams. Right. So, and Dorian's also locked in his team. I love it. I love it. So, you've got people who have locked in their teams, people. And if you are a new My Picks news loser and you've only just signed up today, what do you think? What do you think? We're over 200 members now on the platform. Those are registered members. There's a lot of couple people that are doing predictions are not signing up. People, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. So go and get involved on mypicks.app. Go and lock in the team that you think is going to be the team. That's the big thing. I want you guys, it's about predicting what the team is. Team prediction, not your preference. We are going to be adding a tool, by the way, to create your your own team and be able to show what you would like to do, that is coming. And in that circumstance, we'll be able to do the bench as well. It's a bit complicated to be able to do the bench at the moment, but we're moving, we're trying, we're working on it. It's a work in progress at the end of the day. But yeah, keep dropping those emojis if you have locked in your team. Medium says, everyone can make mistakes. Please stop blaming Colby. And says, can we also do a bet on scoring? Would have been nice. Well, we can go predict the score. And we're going to be doing a big push for a big end of year tour for the prediction league. We're going to be doing a Springbok prediction league. See who can predict the Rassie's team every week the best, as well as a score prediction league for the Autumn Nation series. But also, I want to see you guys go and do your own leagues. I think a couple of people have done their leagues. And that's really, really good to see. Go onto my picks, go and create your leagues, and let me know how they all going. You know, are you winning your league? Are you winning your prediction league? Are you winning your score prediction league? Go and create your own league and let me know who you've invited, for example. Get a corporate league, get a work group going. That's going to be our big push at the end of the year. As Alternation Series, we're going to have lots of different leagues, and I want to see a lot of you guys getting people involved. Willemse gets the nod at fullback. You got to hope he's not injured. I mean, and that's my only thing I might change when I do my team later. I'm not entirely sure what we're looking at fitness. Maybe I go bold and go Colby at 15. Jaden Beer says, I wish they would do those green versus gold matches again. Yeah, almost like the trial matches. Double Up says, love from East London, Eastern Cape. Good old Eastern Cape. Well, I spent many years there and love my time. Annette says, I haven't done my team on my picks. I placed my team on your show when the tour team was announced. Go make sure you get out on my picks, because then we can go and score the team. Right, people, we've locked in our team, which means we can now go and lock in our picks. It says my picks, but see now, boom, it's submitted. And then what you can do over here is you can go and share team, and it produces a cool little graphic over here. And then you can download it, or you can share it, and you can go and email it to your mates, for example. But it does generate a graphic that looks a little something like, give me 2 seconds, let me just move it a bit, like that. So that is what my picks does. So once you do that, that's our FS community starting 15 for Argentina versus South Africa. It's got the details in the corner there. So that is what we have predicted, people. And later, when we get the actual team, it's then going to get scored, and we're going to hopefully get a point per correct pick we made. Somebody last week got a 32 out of 32. I mean, how is that? I'm sure I've got the picture somewhere. I'll even name drop him, because who was it? Where was he? There we go. Dagan Martin last week got 15 players right in all the positions, a sum total of 32 points. Bernard Buerta was second place. He got 28 points. He got 14 players right in 14 positions. I'd love to know what position he got right. By the way, we got 24 points as a community. We came fourth last week. We joined fourth last week in our ranks when we did our polls. So that's what we're going to try and beat. Can we try and beat that later when this comes out? I'll also tell you where I'll come, because I need to go do my team prediction. People are going to wrap up later. We will be live for the team announcement in a few hours' time. So make sure you come and join me there. Make sure you go and lock in your predictions on mypicks.app. And hopefully we'll try and get our one member. We're trying to do a member per day from now until the end of the year. So please do consider becoming that member, so that we've got our one for the day. John says, love from the UK, got a spare ticket as my wife is sick, want to come. Dear, don't tempt me to get on a plane tomorrow, and I'm in. As I said, I would actually not be surprised if Colby starts 15 with a Pimpian hooker on the wings. Exciting times. And no, we're not going to do the bench. The bench feature is coming. But people, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel, head to my picks right now, and go look in your teams. And we'll go and see exactly who came where, and how many points we get later. Please smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll see you guys all at about 3 o'clock for the Rassie Erasmus team announcement. Keep well, keep safe, and